Right out of school, my best friend and I started a transportation company. That company was called Zimride at the time, after my best friend and I, Logan, and I backpacked Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe. And we noticed that in Zimbabwe, the economy was so bad that people were only driving cars unless every seat was filled. And we said, okay, how do we do that in the United States? So we started Zimride. And back then, no one would take us seriously. We were just finishing up school / end of college. And they said, who are you kids? Um, and so I said to my best friend, hey, I want to learn how this Silicon Valley thing works and be able to learn from others. And Logan, he persevered. I think he went another 3 or 4 years before he received any venture funding for the business. That company's now Lyft, and he's still the CEO of Lyft.
All right, we're back. Open dialogue. Thank you for tuning in. What's up? I'm Phil Toronto, host of the Tartar Project. I'm sitting here with co-founder of June, Matt Van Horn. Matt, thank you for carving out some time today. I know you have a lot of things on your plate. Pun not intended, but now I wish I thought of it sooner. Matt, can you tell the Open Dialogue viewers and listeners what June is?
Absolutely. So June, we are a San Francisco-based company that is obsessed with food and cooking and technology. And right now we just announced and are about to start shipping the Generation 3 June oven, which is a countertop oven that has twin convection, carbon fiber heating elements, a camera in the top, and we're able to recognize most commonly cooked foods and cook them perfectly.
It is truly a marvel. I guess in the interest of transparency and order, we did invest in June through Vayner RSE. Is it a weird coincidence that we happen to invest in some fucking incredible brands? Probably not. But we did, and June's an incredible brand. It is my favorite consumer product, period. Wow. And I use it at least 3 times a week, so it's fantastic.
What do you make? What are your go-to dishes?
Oh boy!
If you were to invite us over, how would you impress us, Phil?
I make a mean June steak and handle pretty much all of the cooking myself with a meat thermometer and food ID. So it's almost like it's effortless for me. But I would wind up making some Asian dish, I would assume, and be it a stir fry or one of my great quarantine impulse buys was a rice cooker as well. So the pairing between June and rice cooker that plays Mary Had a Little Lamb, really happy with it.
Amazing.
And before you founded June, you were also working on another product that I loved, which was Path. So plug for that. Rest in peace. But outside of that, what led you to June? What were you doing before? What was interesting for you? Where'd you come from?
Yeah, so my background is I worked at Apple in college. Had the coolest job. Was in charge of campus marketing, and my boss at the time when I was 18 was Dave Morin, later the founder, one of the founders of Path. And then right out of school, my best friend and I started a transportation company. That company was called Zimride at the time, after my best friend and I, Logan, and I backpacked Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe. And we noticed that in Zimbabwe, the economy was so bad that people were only driving cars unless every seat was filled. We said, okay, how do we do that in the United States? So we started Zimride. And back then, no one would take us seriously. We were just finishing up school / end of college. And they said, who are you kids? And so I said to my best friend, hey, I want to learn how this Silicon Valley thing works and be able to learn from others. And Logan, he persevered. I think he went another 3 or 4 years before he received any venture funding for the business. That company's now Lyft, and he's still the CEO of Lyft. And I've remained a close advisor. And then from there, I spent time, what I kind of call getting my MBA in startups by learning from entrepreneurs that I really respected. And so I pretty much threw myself at this startup called Dig, and the founder, Kevin Rose and Jay Adelson, and said, like, hi, I'll take any job. I will do anything. And they said, okay, we're gonna hire you. Your title's marketing assistant. We're gonna pay you $40,000 a year. I'm like, you're gonna pay me? Like, what's wrong with you? Why would you pay
Are you
me?
sure?
Are you sure? I don't like I will sleep on the couch, and I didn't sleep on the couch, but I was made sure to be the first one there, last one to leave every day, at least for the first 2 years of being there, and then spent 3 years there. And then my old boss from Apple, Dave, reached out and said, "Hey, we're gonna go try and take down Facebook with a very ambitious mobile first social network." I said, "Sounds good to me."
Yeah.
And
Game on.
had this, and it was originally in Sean Fanning's apartment. I remember, and I never met Sean Fanning. He was like kind of a legend I had heard about on the internet. And I remember during the interview, I like went to like the top of this tower, and it was Fanning's apartment, this beautiful view, and I got to meet Dustin Muro, one of the Path co-founders, and it was just an incredible experience. And but the best thing that came out of Path was I met my co-founder Nikhil. So Nikhil was the first camera engineer and one of the first camera engineers on the iPhones. He's on the patents for panorama, tap to focus, instant shutter. He was frustrated with how long it took to get from the lock screen to the camera, so he built that feature on the iPhone. So that shortcut, that was a Nikhil invention.
Unbelievable.
And the two of us loved working together at Path, and we love food, and we love cooking, and we love technology and great products. And so we set off to build something in the space, and it's been incredible. It's been, in Thanksgiving it'll be 7 years, which is crazy.
Oh wow.
When we started this, we had no kids. I have 3 kids now. Nikhil has 1. I used to have more hair, wasn't so gray, but it's been an incredible experience, and we love food, we love cooking, and so we've now we ship in like 2 weeks. We started taking pre-orders on the Gen 3 June ovens. We've had 3 generations of June ovens, and then one of our close partners is Weber, and we just shipped our first grill powered by June OS and June technology, and so they've been an incredible partner so far as well.
That's awesome. I want to earmark that. I want to jump to that in a little bit, but I think my most pressing question that I've actually never asked you was, how did you land on an oven? And then the follow-up to that is, how did you have the balls to actually go forward with starting an oven company? Because that just seems so unequivocally hard, especially when starting 2013, when hardware still, I would say, was a bit of a scary thing for a lot of people, and still kind of is, but investors in general. I think it took a lot of guts to go forward with that.
We are masochists. We like pain. So for us, we loved food, we loved cooking. We were looking at different ideas in the space, and even outside of that, we weren't wed to food and cooking, but we found this common ground, and we'd start to get hungry late at night while brainstorming different ideas. And we found ourselves kind of gravitating towards this toaster oven that I had, and start with simple meals like frozen waffles. Then I remember one time we were stuffing Cornish game hens, and my wife came home and she said, what are you two doing? Aren't you supposed to be working on your business idea? We're like, we think we're onto something. And for us, we don't see ourselves as an oven company, even though we've been focused on, we now have 2 types of products. So we have a grill product and our countertop oven line. But for us, we see ourselves as technologists, and we could build anything. And one of the key things that's been really core to the June experience so far has been automation. And so you just described our steak program. So the steak program on the June is, you take a piece of steak, you put it in the oven. On the touchscreen, we say, I think that's a steak. We have a camera in the top that's able to communicate with the computer to say, we think that's a steak. Do you want it medium rare like last time? And then you just press yes. And from a cold oven with no preheat, you're able to get this incredible steak where it starts with a high power broil, then moves to a slow convection roast. And we even predict how long it's going to take. We have this ETA feature, the estimate time of arrival of your steak. So if you have a tomahawk steak, that's going to take about 30 minutes. If you have got a petite filet, it's going to take about 14 minutes. And you can be in the other room and be watching, or use your voice and say, echo, how much longer on this product, and we'll tell you. And the nice thing and interesting thing about an oven is that an oven is ripe for automation. And so there's heating elements. You've got this very precise box, cavity, etc. And we're able to control it very precisely and automate a lot of the experience, like we're able to do for your steak on a regular basis.
That's fantastic. And actually, I think that's a really good segue to maybe demonstrate the food ID, because I think you do have a prop that can help us visualize that ever so conveniently. So I'd love to take that opportunity to show everybody just how incredible it kind of is.
You have some eggs. And so you'll notice, lift the camera for a moment, that I put eggs in there and it's saying, is that a whole egg or those almonds? And so the more confident we are in one, often the more random the second one is. We always show our two best guesses for what we think something is. And so this is one of my favorite cook programs because it's just so easy. It's an air boil. So literally we will air boil these eggs perfectly. And so with the air boil, and then one of the other nice things is we actually will count how many items are in there. It's a different cook program. So there's 3 eggs in there that I just put in. See those 3 eggs? And so we run a different cook program based on what we see.
It's awesome. I don't remember if the oven was out yet. I think it was around 2013. You guys were still in the townhouse as an office, right by, I guess it was by the Paint Ladies. And you showed me cooking a chocolate chip cookie, like to end the meeting. And you had to run to another thing. You're like, just sit here. They'll be done soon. And you put it in, food ID worked. And I don't even like sweets. And it was a delicious experience. I just left. I was like, did you see what these people just did? This is insane. So I'll definitely never forget that. It was awesome. It's a fun little story. So you and Nikhil decide on an oven, technologists. How long from when you made the decision to build June in the form that it is, not today, but the version 1, how long from conceptualizing to having an oven in your hand? What was that time frame?
So we left Path in November 2013, so it was Thanksgiving, and we knew we were going to build a countertop oven with a camera in the top and a touchscreen that recognized most commonly cooked foods. How we would do that, we had no idea. That was time to be resourceful and figure that out. How foolish we were back then with all we know now, but we set out to do that. And so I'm not necessarily that good at remembering dates, but one that's very clear to me. So June 9th, 2015. So June 9th, 2015 was the day that we announced the company to the world. And so it was a big secret at that point. We weren't even telling friends and family that we've been working on a kitchen appliance or anything like that. Literally, people would go through the entire interview process, and there was we literally wouldn't tell them until we were giving them an offer, which was pretty amazing.
There was a secret domain as well that your email was linked to. Yep.
Yes.
I remember that.
Neo Citrus was our.
Yep.
I think you can still email me.
Yeah, everything goes
neocitrus.com. It will. But anyway, so June 9th, we announced to the world for the first time what we were doing. I don't think it was like a 6 a.m. embargo break, but what's also crazy was why I remember this date. I don't remember it because of June. I remember it because of my future daughter. So we did IVF to have children, all 3 children, and our first, it's a very timed cycle, and so the only date that could work perfectly for our situation was June 9th.
Of course.
at I think it was 8 a.m. And so literally was in the office for the embargo break, where we're all wearing a June t-shirt for the first time, announcing the product, had been doing demos for the press. And then 3 hours later, we're putting Sadie in, and it worked, which was great. It's only about a coin flip at that point, but Sadie is here, and so she's she's
So
four and a
many
half
oven
now.
metaphors. So many
She's
oven
four and a half
metaphors.
now. So
That's amazing. 2 things come to life same day. That's crazy. What was there? I'm sure there were actually a lot, but what was the first oh shit moment that stands out the second I say that? Because I feel like 27,000 things might rush through your head, but the first one that's just like the aha, what comes to mind that you can share at least?
yeah, just how hard hardware is and how expensive it is. Like I'll give an example, just talking about like fundraising, right? Which we've been very fortunate that we've been able to fundraise like we have, and thank you for being an investor.
Oh, our
Uh,
pleasure.
and but with hardware is really hard and really expensive, and so we raised I think it was $7.5 million seed round of funding. And we're like, oh, that's so much money. People are like, wow, like that's the most seed money of like I've heard of any of my friends, all this stuff. People are like, you guys are so flush with cash, et cetera, et cetera. And in my head, $7.5 million should be enough to ship a product, right? No, 7.5 is not enough to ship a product at all.
That's as
So
complex as what you're building.
yeah, absolutely. And so we needed to kind of launch the pre-orders, and even the pre-order money was not enough. We still had to go raise a $20 million round on top of that to be able to ship and bring the product to market.
I would like to welcome our third guest. Who is this
This
lovely
is Kane.
scholar and gentleman?
This is Kane.
Hello, Kane.
Hello, I'm Kane. I just woke up from a nap.
I'm jealous, Kane. I really am. It's incredible. So I know you mentioned earlier the partnership with Weber. How did that come into fruition, and how is that going to live in the future? Because I'm as a New York City resident, it's a little tough for me to take part in such a product, but I think there are a couple workarounds for me, so I'm really excited about that.
Well, I'll
Personally,
talk about Weber in a second, but we do on the Gen 3 June oven, which I believe you ordered.
I did.
We have a new grill mode. And so you're actually going to change the way you cook steak because the new grill mode is pretty awesome. You'll be able to get amazing char marks on your steak in the June.
Well, there we have it. Yep. I'm speechless because I'm excited. So that's great.
But anyway, so how the other Weber partnership came to be was I got a cold email from Jim Stephen, the chairman and CEO of Weber, and he reached out and he explained who he was and said that he helped invent the modern gas grill, the Genesis, and that his dad invented the kettle, the original Weber kettle, and that he loved his June oven and he had to meet us and had to find a way to figure out how to work with June. And so we started talking, and fast forward 2 years later, we have a grill in the market, the Weber Smoke Fire, which is an incredible product. It's a pellet grill. It's Weber's first pellet grill. And so we worked with them very, very closely and hand in hand. And there's a computer and a screen and connectivity, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. And when you actually turn it on, it says in like the tiniest font ever, but we're there, powered by Juno OS, which we're very, very proud of and excited about. And the team was happy about that and thankful that Weber let us be on there. And it's been wonderful working with them. Weber's such a talented team and is such, I don't know what the word is, just like legendary heritage and history and quality of products. Like the Weber warranties are insane because they just build such high quality products. And it's been really, really wonderful working with them so far.
That's awesome. I can't wait to try out my version 3, but I also hope to someday try out a Weber powered by Juno OS. I know the app itself, the June app, has access to a subscription for recipes. Like, how do you think about everything outside of just the hardware? How does June think about that in general?
I mean, it's all that matters is great food, period, and a great experience. So how can we deliver that? So if that's, with different hardware solutions, but I think the magic of June is the symphony of hardware and software. So being able to kind of find that perfect experience where if you're just using the touch screen on the oven or using your mobile application? How do you have a great experience on all mediums? But the most important thing is great food. And so one of our early mentors when we were starting this company was Chef Michael Mina, a Michelin-starred chef out of the Bay Area. And that was a good one, buddy.
It's a good burp.
and one of the things he said to us, he said, we can put all the bells, whistles, cameras, sensors, all we want into our products. But if we lose sight of one thing, we're doomed. All that matters is great food. And so that's been one of the core things that's just been really, really amazing to have that North Star. So we can always point to that if we're ever in a bind and having trouble making a decision.
That's a great guiding light. What's your favorite thing to make in June?
I would say steaks. And we have this new cook mode called virtual rotisserie, which I can show you in a second. But something really fun is I can show you what I made last night for dinner. So I don't know how well this will translate, but this was capanha. So this is like Brazilian steakhouse cut.
Oh, wow.
So did those on meat skewers. And then we have this new, I'll show you what the meat looked like. It was incredible.
Oh, wow. Cooked perfectly. That's awesome.
And so what's amazing, so we have this new cook mode that we're calling virtual rotisserie. And so I'll show this right now. What a rotisserie is it's taking, I don't know if you can see the heating elements. So you'll look, it's at the back one. Now It's moving on to the top one and then the other top one. And so it's running in a full circle to create this virtual rotisserie. So if you think about a rotisserie where the meat is moving and going in a circle and going around the heating element in one place, we've flipped it. So the meat's not moving. The heating elements are moving with our carbon fiber heating elements.
That's incredible.
And so that's actually how I did that picanha last night. So maybe the reflection, but you can see heating elements there and then the top heating elements.
That's really clever.
So this is a brand new Gen 3 only feature. We didn't have the individual heating element control on the Gen 1 and the Gen 2. So this is a brand new feature.
That's so cool. That's awesome. I guess one more question, then I'm going to let you go. What's coming up in the future? I know you have a lot in the pipeline with version 3 just about to ship in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we have a lot going on. As you'll see this, just even on here, it was in the demo mode section of the app. So we have a lot more software to write, but we've built this incredible hardware platform and we're very excited about it.
Awesome. And then where can people find you? Either you personally or the company?
Yeah, juneoven.com, at June on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm at mvanhorn on Twitter and Instagram. Awesome.
Matt.
And I'll throw out one more thing.
Oh, please.
About what my biggest claim to fame in life, because this is probably a Gary V crowd, I'm guessing.
I would say so.
This.
Yeah.
So my claim to fame in life, not just Gary specific, just happens to be Gary specific, was he was shooting a video at the Dig office with Kevin Rose and Justine in probably it was 2007, 2008, so a long time ago. And I installed Twitter on Gary's iPhone.
Whoa.
That day. And so that's my claim to fame, is I installed Twitter on
That's
Gary's
pretty huge.
iPhone.
I think a lot of people are thankful for you. That's awesome. Well, Matt and Kane, thank you so much for joining.
Of course.
And we look forward to following along with all the updates for June.
Of course. Thank you so much. It was great being here.
Yeah, totally.
Bye. I can't wait to eat June food, but not yet.
It's so very close. That was great. That was perfect. Thank you.
Of course.
I think it's going to go up sometime next week. Brandon's going to edit, get it into shape, and there's going to be a corresponding article.